lots of work besides that, but not a harem's worth, of course. So I guess I'll start with what I thought about Rokujouma right off the bat.
Hang on, babe. First we need to intro the show.
Oh yeah, intros.
This is an episode of a show that exists. The name of the show is Genki,
Gejigeji, Gokuraku.
Hi, sumimasen.
Dozo.
In this show, we are reviewing and discussing anime. Specifically, in this first show, this sort of introductory pilot episode, we are discussing two shows. One of them was randomly selected. The other one was not randomly selected. We randomly selected the anime Invaders of the Rokujouma, which you have heard of. It's a... What year is this show from?
2014.
Fuck, you just knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, I think you might have done more work than me. From 2014, it is like a sort of harem-y show, whatever. But then the other show was Bocchi the Cock, which we are the last people on Earth to watch. So we'll get into that, but we're starting with Rokujouma, apparently.
Yes, Rokujouma takes place in an apartment complex and a high school, mostly.
It takes place in room 106
Yeah.
of an apartment complex.
Room 106, which is...
And room 1A of a high school.
Oh.
And also it takes place sometimes in the club building.
You know what? I wouldn't have gotten all those details.
I, halfway through the show, checked which classroom they were in, because I was like, they're first years, aren't they? They are.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I only got the Bocchi the Rock. They're in classroom, what, like 2-1? 2A or something?
Huh?
I don't know. I think that's what it was.
I don't know. But yeah, no, you sounded like you were onto something.
Oh, yeah, no, I started real strong there. And trust me, it was not going anywhere fast.
Oh, it sounded like it was.
All right. So, yeah, it takes place in, of course, a school and an apartment building. You have several girls who just instantly show up in the first episode.
Yeah, no, I do want to talk about that. So, yeah, in the first episode, our protagonist is just sort of a guy. He's just moved into this extremely cheap apartment, and he's about to start high school. And his dad is somewhere else, and he like calls him, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, you are alive, but just not here." And his mom is mysteriously absent, presumably dead. And he's like, oh boy, this apartment sure is super cheap. But then, like, I don't know how he get, like, he's like working at his job. He works at a job digging holes.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain what he's digging holes for. It seemed like they were like panning. They were digging up dirt and then panning through it. Just like, what are they looking for? Is it like...
Maybe they're looking for Amber. They're looking for the Amber from Resident Evil 4.
Maybe... Hang on, maybe they were looking for Amber. But anyway, then he falls down a hole at his hole digging job. Who could have seen something like this happening?
Unbelievable.
And he finds a weird statue that's like talks to him. That's not really explained, and then he wakes up in the hospital, and his friend, whose name is Mackenzie, is like, "You fell down." Actually, no, I did like that scene because there's no dialogue in that scene where he wakes up in the hospital. There's just music. It's just music, and you don't hear what anyone's saying. And I was like, "We're getting into it, huh?" But then he goes home, and he's like, my mysteriously cheap apartment is haunted by a ghost who has appeared. I can see this ghost now who's been haunting me, who previously I could not see. And this ghost is like, looks about 12,
It looks like a 12-year-old lolly ghost.
And she is kind of annoyed, generally. She's like, this is my apartment.
Yep, she's been there for quite some time.
So they fight, and then as they're fighting, that's when the magical girl shows up next, right?
Yeah, Yurika.
Hi. So then as they're fighting, like, she's like flinging things at him, and he's like, I've got these, like, whatever. It fucking doesn't matter. Then the goddamn magical girl shows up, and she's the best character in the entire show. And it's not close. She just flies through the window, and she's pathetic and useless, and nobody believes her throughout the entire show that she's a magical girl, especially not in this first episode, where she just gets lifted up and thrown out of the room, so that like locked out of the apartment, so that the guy can keep fighting his ghost.
Yeah, which is, by the way, a very straightforward way of just getting rid of someone.
Yeah, no, he just picks her up and fucking throws her. But then who shows up next? It's the underground lady, right?
It's either the underground lady. Oh yeah, it is the underground lady.
Yeah.
She shows up next.
Then like the floor opens up in a oh fuck, I can't remember how she's described I read the Wikipedia article for this. And they used an amusing phrase when describing how huge her breasts are. I can't remember. I should have written it down, but it was quite funny. But no, she's got big honking bazongas.
Yeah, she is she's definitely the more motherly sort of like seductress trope.
Hang on. No, I'm gonna bring that up later. At least wait until we have all our characters introduced. So she shows up and she's like, "Hey, I didn't mention the magical girl." She was like, this apartment's important to me because there's like magic here. There's magic stored inside this apartment, and evil magical girls will show up and steal the magic.
Yes.
But then the breasts walk in, and she's sorry. That was disrespectful. Sorry, we respect women on this podcast. Yes. A woman with massive breasts walks in. But the woman's the important part, and she says, that the place that this one room apartment is where like a ancient religious site used to be.
Yeah, like there's a shrine that she wants to erect on this religious site,
and that shrine will allow them to build super weapons to take over the world.
Yes, which no one wants except for them.
Famously, shrines so good at producing super weapons.
I haven't seen a single shrine do anything like that, except for maybe in Diablo.
You haven't?
I'm sorry to tell you this, but I mean,
then fucking then like a. We've got like our 12-year-old looking ass ghost, but then also a 12-year-old looking ass sci-fi princess of a space empire walks through a space portal into that room, and she's like, I'm in charge now, and I'm gonna start shooting lasers and trying to blow up the Earth.
Yeah, she's a bit aggressive about it. You know, she's sort of that sassy, entitled tsundere princess type trope.
Hi.
And she comes along with a nice, mature, almost tomboyish type character with blue hair named...
second best character, who's Ruth. I don't know what her full name is, but she's just called Ruth through the show. She's the second best character in the show, and it's not close.
Not even close. Third best is Hercules, by the way, the beetle.
Hi.
But that's later on.
Yeah, no, and then his landlady shows up and the room's just all fucking destroyed. And she punches everybody and then makes them sign like an actual just straight up contract. Like just straight up like a treaty. Like where the hell are we in my notes? Oh, like we skipped over some stuff in my notes actually.
Oh wow.
But maybe it's good to introduce the characters. Magical girl arrives.
I want to add specifically that the landlady, she's just a normal human, unlike a lot of these characters.
Oh yeah, no, she's just a lady. She's She's just a normal, regular human, but who can just absolutely demolish anybody with her powerful fists.
Yeah, she's like Sakura from Naruto. Whenever she is punching someone like Naruto, instantly one taps them.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, so, yeah, they signed a contract. I read through that. Did you, like, pause it and read that contract? Mm-hmm. Thoughts?
Out of everything that was there, I don't remember much of it.
Oh, I took notes on it.
Yeah, no, I read through it and I saw things such as no cosplaying outside of the apartment.
One of the rules was like there was rules like no fighting outside the apartment, no like destructive attacks, like things like this that make sense. But one of them was no cosplaying outside the apartment. One of the rules, it had articles, like it was all like articles and like subsections and shit. It was I thought it was pretty well written. Except like Article 2, I read it 3 times and I legitimately could not understand what it meant. It was just all like party, like the participant parties shall not. One. Yeah, it was just like I could not understand that at all. But it was just straight up like legalese. It was good. But hang on, Article 7. I wrote down shout out Article 7. I do not remember at this juncture what that meant.
Oh, just shout out Article 7.
Shout out Article 7 and the annex to Article 3. I think the annex to Article 3 was I think Article 3 was the one about like what kind of fighting you cannot do. So nothing like destructive or disruptive. Like you can't like be loud. And then I think the annex to Article 3 was also the landlady can just decide nobody can fight if it's snack time. And I was like, that's a funny thing. Like I can just declare it snack time and nobody can fight during my snack time.
And also, you can't fight on Saturdays and Sundays. Very important.
Fuck, I don't remember what Article 7 was. I think that's what I wanted to talk about with the contract. I don't know. We can circle back around to it at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, this might be a good time to circle around because that's like the end of the first episode, I think. Yeah, I wanted to circle around to we've got all our female characters. We've got like a landlady and a space princess, and the space princess's assistant, and the princess of the underground Earth people, and a magical girl and a ghost. And we've also got the girl at the club, right? We skipped over everything he does in school in the first episode.
Yeah, that's true.
His friend Mackenzie is like, hey, are you going to join the baseball club? Because you're a baseball player. You play baseball. You're pretty good. And he's like, no, I'm not going to join the baseball club. I'm going to join the knitting club. And an interesting thing there is Mackenzie is like, oh, like the girl who we met in the hospital. She's the president of the knitting club. We don't see that happen. And I'm like, that's poggers. They mention something, but they don't feel the need to fucking have an entire scene explaining it.
Yeah,
that's
they just sort of...
That's cool. Like, I don't know if that's because they wanted to, like increase the pace. They didn't want to spend, 3 episodes introducing everything. They just wanted to, shorten it down to 1. Because this is based on a manga. I don't know if they just wanted to shorten it, or if that's how it was in the manga, or that was just a creative decision. But I like it that they just mentioned that she was there. They mentioned she was at the hospital, but we don't need to dwell on it. And then our protagonist assures Mackenzie that he's not a horny fuckboy.
No,
he genuinely wants to be part of the knitting club. And I was like, I wrote down here like why is he quitting baseball and taking like what does this mean for his, what is motivating this? And it's also not really explained in the show, but there is one scene I think where he mentions joining the knitting club, and he looks over and he you see a picture of his family, and then a sweater or something, and it's like is it something to do with his dead mom or something? I don't know.
And it's, again, like you said, not really explained.
Yeah, I like a show that will just like have stuff, but they don't need to explain it, and they don't explain it. No, yeah. What I really wanted to get to was we've got these 6 girls. How old do you think each of them are?
I'm willing to bet the ghost girl, she's probably like 15. The little lolly girl, she's probably like 6. No, 6 is maybe a little bit of a low ball. I think she's probably 14 by this standard.
All right, 14, 15.
The Earth Lady, she's probably like in her 20s.
In her 20s.
Our magical girl, like 17. Main character, if they're first year, probably like 15, 16. And then Ruth? She's probably around 16, 17.
What about the girl from the club and the landlady?
Landlady, she's the same age as our main character, so again, probably 14, 15, 16. And then, the knitting lady, she's the president. She's probably a second year. I would guess, 16.
They're all 16 except the president of the club, who's 17. They're all 16. Every single one of them is 16. Everyone.
Even the lolly, yes. Obviously lolly.
Yes.
Oh.
The girl who looks like she's about 12 is 16. The girl with like triple H cup of breasts, 16. The fucking I could have sworn that Ruth was like older. Like I looked at her and I was like, she's probably like 20.
Yeah.
Like the underground girl, maybe like 18. Like, not like outside of high school age, but like a little bit older. I might have guessed like 14 or 15 for the princess and the ghost. No, they're all fucking 16.
How could they do this?
It's what I want to know is, why are they lying? How can they look me in the eye and just lie to me like that?
Yeah, just completely.
These characters are not all 6. They're not all the same age. There's a 5-year age gap between some of these characters, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
Yeah, some of them look way older, way younger. I mean,
like every single time Ruth got up to some bullshit, I was just like, girl, you are an adult. You are 20 years old, and you are fucking... You're like, oh, why doesn't this high schooler like... But no, she's fucking the same age.
Oh, you know what? Props there for at least fitting the character's age, whereas several of these other characters just don't fit their age properly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the lolly, for one, I mean, I guess she's, a bit childish, right? And sassy. But she should be acting even younger than she is, right? Like, she should be acting... I guess maybe more like our magical girl, more like a crybaby when she doesn't get her way.
God, I could talk for an hour about the magical girl.
Yeah, I mean the magical girl is my favorite character personally.
By far wrote the most about the magical girl while I was taking notes. Like it's like pretty much any scene where the magical girl shows up, I was like, all right, here's like the update on her character. Because
Hot take.
I think she changes the most over the course of the show.
She does. She goes through a whole thing. Plus the fact that there's, everyone's memories being rewritten after.
I really didn't like that twist.
Yeah.
When they're like, all right, she's had her big stuff, but then everybody's memories get rewritten. They don't remember it. Fuck off.
Like, I get it. It's cool to bring the main character in and have him say, I don't care if you're a magical girl or not. But at that point, why not just let them remember that she was a magical girl?
We might be getting ahead of ourselves. I don't think we should do a blow-by-blow of the entire goddamn show. Like, we really covered that first episode, but it was just introducing stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should spend that long talking about all the episodes, because we'll be here forever.
Yeah, fair enough. That was a jump cut to like episode 8.
Yeah. So I just want to go through. Good Lord, sorry. I just looked at my notes and I'm just gonna read this verbatim from what I wrote down. And all right, I've got a note here. The wet slapping noise of the underground girl's big floppy tits is strange, and I stand by that. The sound effects they used for giant flopping breasts were weird as hell.
You know, I noticed a few sound effects in this show that were a little off.
Let me see here. When it cut to them, like all the girls transferring into his class, I laughed at as it's like 5 different like zany girls being like, oh yeah, we all just like moved here.
Yep. We are not affiliated whatsoever.
But I gotta shout out the fact that the princess, the sci-fi girl, what's her name?
Sci-fi girl princess, her name is Theomilis Grey Mastil Sagrada von Vorthon.
Right. She's like hella racist.
Oh yeah, mega racist.
Just pretty much any time she's talking to any human, she's like, oh, you fucking primitives with your fucking primitive shit. Fuck you. And it's like, she straight up, she transfers into the school and she's like, oh yeah, why do I, like, I'm from Europe. Just vaguely from somewhere in Europe, don't worry about it. She shows up and like, her new classmates are like, hey, you know, you speak really good Japanese. And she's like, oh yeah, your dumb fucking primitive language, easy as fuck for me to learn, you fucking nitwits. And it's like, I think if you came into a school and you said that shit, you would get killed. You would be murdered. Someone would beat you to, like, you would die. You would die that day.
Oh yeah, you would be an outcast immediately.
No, like literally dead, like a genuine corpse.
Oh wow.
Like I don't think you could transfer into a school in a different country and be like, someone's like, oh, you know, you speak the language really well, and you're like, well, it's a fucking dumb idiot language, so it was fucking easy for me to learn, you fucking nitwits. Like,
yeah, like it's as bad as Vegeta or say Frieza in the beginning of the Namek arc calling, you know, Goku a monkey every 5 seconds. Well, Vegeta doesn't call him a monkey, but he calls him a lesser Saiyan and all that.
Thank you. Yes, it's just like, it actually is rather like that. What's the deal with anime characters just being like racist in order to show that they're like have a superiority complex?
Racism is very powerful.
And we've got our we've got the quote I'm going to put on the thumbnail.
Hell yeah.
All right. I wrote you know, the magical girl is barely functioning. The group of delinquents that the princess takes over and starts commanding later in the show.
Oh yeah,
they're described as the boys' cheer club, which I thought was funny.
I like how the leader kinda reminds me of Jotaro.
I mean, it's the sort of thing where it's like I can't tell if he's supposed to be vaguely reminiscent of, like, it's because it's like all like tropes. It's like the Yankee. No, is that Yankee? No, that's he's the other one. Not Yankee. I don't know, but whatever. It's a subgroup of Japanese delinquent. Like it's like a thing that exists already. It's like when every time a Yankee delinquent shows up in an anime and people are like, oh, he's just like fucking this other guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's like a thing. It'd be weird if every isekai people were like, oh, this isekai is just like somebody gets brought to another world. Bro, that's just like it's a genre, and we all understand that. But then for some reason when it comes to delinquents, people don't know as much as me, and the fact that anybody knows any amount less than me about anything is proof that they're lesser and I am a superior Saiyan.
Hi.
I don't know. I don't know what else to like. I kind of don't feel like just going through my notes and just reading shit. I liked the art in the show. Like, it wasn't like crazy, but it was pretty good. I thought their CGI and the way they composited it in was pretty good, except sometimes when it wasn't.
Yeah, for the most part, it seemed pretty seamless. There were just some places where it looked like maybe they cut the budget a couple times, but you know, that's fine. It seemed overall like a pretty low budget show. I mean, they didn't have to do any crazy fights or anything like that, so
Well, I've got here like early on in the show. There's one episode. I don't remember which episode it was, but everybody's like doing stuff. But the Earth girl who lives underground and has she's got two friends, two little flying friends, and they're like little like I don't know, they're like some sort of what are those guys from Animal Crossing? Whatever.
I mean, they're reminiscent of like Sudowoodo from Pokemon.
Yeah, there we go. Also like that, or like the little things from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, those things which I've never played Animal Crossing.
But they're like it though.
Yeah.
They're flying around and they're like watching, like checking up on what everyone's doing, and then the sci-fi princess girl, Thea. Tulip. She's like, oh, you know, she detects them using her Gundam, Space Gundam, and she's like, you know, now technically the rules say I'm not allowed to fight anybody, but I've only my sensors only read like an 80% probability that these belong to the other girl, so I can send like a unmanned fighter to intercept them. And it's and it's like, I don't know, like it was like, I was like, oh, this is like political shenanigans. This is good. Like I just liked that they were like, oh, you know, oh, I'm gonna like skirt the rules of the treaty in order to
it's a very smart move from someone who the show claims to be 16 years old, but definitely again should be way younger.
Well, I mean, she is a princess, so she would probably know like treaty kind of stuff and like
and she's a Spacian, so
yeah. I don't remember the names of any of like the species or different like groups and kingdoms and stuff.
Yeah,
I think they all started with the letter R, which did not help me.
The Rokujouma Kingdom.
Let me see here. Yeah, at the the structure of the show, we had like a couple of episodes introductory, and then it was like arcs. It was like 2-episode arcs.
Yep.
Like each one centered around one of the girls.
Right, for that sweet character development.
Yeah, we had, it was like the Ghost Girl arc, then the hell. Can you pull up the show? Pull up the show so I can look at the episodes and remember which one's which?
I have this slightly organized by that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Beach episode. The beach. The two. That was the Ghost Girl. Then it was the sci-fi girl with the play arc. Then then the magical girl. Then the Earth girl. All right. Yeah. So. What note did I read that started me talking about this? I don't know, but the structure that's the structure of the show. We've got a bunch of 2-episode arcs, and then like one final episode that just where nothing happens. Nothing happens. Well, no, actually stuff happens, but I don't care. I didn't take very many notes.
Yeah, it's sort of it does a really cool thing where it wraps everything up, and then at the very end of the entire show, there's a twist that entirely breaks down everything.
Was there? What happened? No, wait. Maybe we should talk about it later. Maybe literally the end of the entire show should come at the end of us talking about at least what happened in the show.
I suppose you're right.
But before the beach. Before the Ghost Girls arc, which starts with the beach episode, they had the race, they raced and like there was like obstacles and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Was that 1 episode or 2 episodes?
That was just one.
Okay, I don't care. But during that, at the, there was some like the sci-fi girl set up laying mines, fucking. I don't know what else happened. The magical girl used magic. I don't know. Stuff happened. But right at the end of that race, as they showed like people, our characters running past the crowd, I looked and I was like, there is a man standing in that crowd wearing a full suit and sunglasses and a hat. And I'm like, that's suspicious as fuck. And I just want to say I called that shit. Because the next arc after that is the Ghost Girl's arc. And they go to the beach and some shit happens. As a side note, I'd like to point out the fact that for most of the show, there's no romance. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, they tag it as romance in a couple places. They didn't tag it as romance on Mel. But for the most part, this romance, I would say, felt more realistic, a lot more slow-paced. The characters had to actually, interact with the main character to actually find some sort of fondness with him. And, I prefer a faster-paced sort of romance and more blatant, expression of it. But this was a good change of pace.
A fast-paced romance with blatant expression. That's not an anime you're describing, my friend.
Oh, what's that?
That's a different thing. And you find those on different websites. If you wanted to say, I don't know, yeah, no, that's different.
No, fair enough.
You pervert.
As someone who watches a lot of romance anime, I will say this is the most wholesome romance anime I have seen.
I think at the end of the show, I think there was only 3 characters, including Ruth, that felt any romantic attraction towards our main character. Which makes me question if this is a harem, even. I mean, kind of. I guess 3 girls liking you is already a harem. Mm-hmm. But for most of the show, there's less than that. There's maybe 1, or so it's it's when does something become a harem? Just because there's a bunch of one guy, one male main character surrounded by an enormous number of women, does that make it a harem, or does there have to be some romantic?
Well, I think there's stages to it, right? So there's romance just in general, and they won't specify further for maybe 1. Then there's love triangle, where there's 2 girls and the guy. Love polygon, which is 3 and more. And then a harem is I guess 5 or more.
But just only 3 of those women were romantically interested in him.
Mm.
I'd call that a love polygon, if anything. And but then there's just a bunch of other women.
Yeah, I guess they just...
He just knows women.
Yeah.
I know women. I swear.
I know my mother. I know my grandmother. I trust me, I know lots of women besides that, but not a harem's worth, of course.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, no. So the beach arc. They go to the beach. Honestly, not much happens in the beach episode. Oh,
yeah, except, for the most part.
Well, they're all sleeping because they won a trip to the beach, but the hotel they are staying at is just garbage shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tiny. And they're all just sleeping on the floor. And then when our main character is sleeping, he accidentally rolls over and in his sleep gropes Ruth. And I was like, this is a little weird. But then he wakes up and he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I don't feel any romantic or sexual attraction towards you. I was just dreaming about beetles. And I was like, that's based.
And then Ruth, for the entire show from there, hates beetles with a burning passion.
Which is unbased. And I'm really disappointed they did that to my second favorite character.
Yeah, it became sort of a inconvenient plot device, in my opinion.
Well, because, again, I was looking at this character and I was like, she is an adult. She's maybe the oldest one here, probably. Why does she care this much about what a child thinks about her? But apparently they were all the same age, so I'm a fucking idiot, I guess. So, I don't know. I guess it's fine that her characterization was, for the second half of the show, basically entirely centered around how jealous she was about not being romantically interested in by a child. Like her whole characterization in the first half of the show is she's a character, and then the second half of the show, it's like a lot of it's just like, but she's angry because he doesn't like her, and I'm like, God, why did you do this to her?
My poor Ruth.
Make her her own character. I'm sure that was way too loud. Anyway, yes. So they go to the beach, but while they're at the beach, some ghost catchers show up, and they try to catch the ghost. At one point, they accidentally catch the princess instead, and then they get called like creep pedophiles. And I just want there was a cut like right after that where they're like, or it might have just been in the same episode, where it went from like straight from those guys getting called creep pedophiles to just an immediate shot of like the girl's ass, and I was like, this is mixed messaging where you're like, oh, only a creepy pervert pedophile would be interested in this little girl, but look at her ass. And I was like, I don't want to look at her ass. Also, I don't know. Does the bath scene happen in the beach episode or in the episode after the beach episode?
I believe it happens in the beach episode.
Okay, I thought like you might know, you freak. That it's weird. I find it genuinely strange that's like the most important scene in the entire show is the bath scene, where all the girls just straight up talk about like their goals. They're all like, oh, you know, my goal in life is to do this, and like this is my motivation, and like this is what I'm striving for, and it's the most important scene, and they're just all naked. And the camera is just like really looking.
Oh yeah, no, it shows off everything, except it keeps it still in that wholesome vibe.
You do not directly see the nipples, or
yeah, I mean, even Kiriha, the Earth Girl, she has her hair.
Yeah, her hair barely covers her nipples.
Yeah, and her crotch.
A couple of people are like, oh, and her crotch, yes. A couple of people are like loosely gripping some towels in strange and unnatural ways while they're in the bath. Like, I keep seeing this in anime, and I assume it's like a censorship thing where you don't want to show the entire naked woman's body. But is this like a thing that people do where they grab their towel and they're like wrap their towel around themselves and then walk into the water and be like, oh yes, I'm just with my towel in the water, entirely saturated by towel?
Nah, in Japan, what they would do is it's required typically in a lot of places to either put your towel on your head when you go into the bath or just on the side. Because, I mean, it's not your towel. Don't get your dirty towel in the water now for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, see? Why do they do this? I guess because you want to show a bunch of naked women, but you cannot legally show a bunch of naked women without changing the rating of your show.
Whatever happened to fog? Anime used to be made with fog, I swear.
Or, yeah, I don't know. Just do something else. Get really weird with the posing. Have everybody doing, like, JoJo poses to just cover up everything.
Yeah, like use a heel during a handstand to cover the crotch, and maybe they have like a strong crossed arm position going on covering the breasts.
Yeah, it's just something. Have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
That was the most important scene, as everyone's just talking about like their dreams and ambitions, and I can't find it in my notes because I'm not really looking at them. I could have just not taken notes. Your notes are on a screen and ordered with like the episodes and stuff. Mine's just like sort of train of thought. Like I'm seeing a note here that says dense MC BTFO by facts and logic, taught to be polite and kind. Like, I don't know what that's referring to. That doesn't show me anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that, and I can't think about that.
Like, at some point, I guess somebody beat him the fuck out with facts and logic and taught him to be polite and kind. Yeah, no, I feel like we're losing steam, so I want to keep moving. The ghost girl gets kidnapped by the ghost hunters, who I noticed 2 episodes earlier. I called it. No, but she gets kidnapped, and then, but like before that, she had a fight with everybody, and then she gets kidnapped. But then everybody is like, oh, you know, she's our friend, and then they go and save her, and you know, just everything happens that you would expect to happen. The space princess is shooting lasers because she has lasers.
They're really cool lasers.
The Earth girl, probably her little thing is make beams or shields or something. I don't know.
There was another ghost, and she turned into a huge purple ghost.
Oh yeah, there was another ghost who was like, you can't trust people; they won't come to save you. And then when everyone comes to save them, she's like, I've been betrayed.
Yeah.
And then she turned into a big ghost, and then tried to absorb the ghost girl. But no, I'd like to shout out the fact that Ruth, like as everyone's using like their abilities to fight, Ruth just grabs a sword and just starts stabbing stuff, and I'm like, okay,
sure, why not?
Oh no, we skipped over something extremely important. As they arrive at the hotel, and it's like garbage and it's shit, and they're like looking at it, and they're like, oh, this place sucks. The ghost girl's like looks around and she's like, we're not alone here. There's ghosts, and everyone's like, oh no, ghosts. And then the landlady, she's here. She just drops down a box and she's like, oh, I brought a bunch of ghost stuff just in case. And it's like, what? You brought a bunch of fucking ghost stuff? You were like, oh, I get to go on vacation to the beach. Let me bring my box of old ghost stuff.
Specifically from the place that she runs, the apartment complex.
Yeah, gotta bring my box of ghost stuff. Girl, your apartment that you run is haunted. You can't deal with ghosts. Your place is haunted already. But you're like, oh, I better bring my ghost stuff in case I go to another place that's haunted. So you can deal with those ghosts like you didn't with the ghosts that are haunting your place? Whatever. No, she shows up with a box of ghost stuff. And she's like, oh, I just brought this just in case. But then it becomes handy because they have to fight ghosts. Yeah,
which, by the way, this box is totally new.
Yeah,
It's already been haunted at the hotel, so...
No. But she has a box of ghost stuff, and one of the things in the ghost box, it's a ghost detector that points to where ghosts are. And that's how they find the girl after she got kidnapped. But they turn it on, and it, like, explodes or something. And they're like, oh, what was wrong with it? And the little guys that belong to the underground girl, they're like, oh yeah, the etheric oscillator couldn't handle the oscillations. And I was like, yeah, no,
of course,
dude, the etheric oscillator can't handle these oscillations. Oscillated way too much for the oscillator. I don't know, like, I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, no, that was fun. I just thought what happened after was a bit convenient, where they just literally formed a new oscillator.
Yeah, they just made a new one.
Yeah, a totally new one, and it worked perfectly fine.
Yeah. No, that was weird and bad.
Yeah, it created a weird truce immediately.
Yeah, no. Then they go there, they fight everybody. The magical girl, oh yeah, she was late. She was literally tied. Oh no, I liked the scene where she was forced into joining a club. It's the cosplay club, and it's just a bunch of like women who keep catching her and tying her up, and then forcing her to wear costumes in a very cool and normal way. But while she was witnessing her friend get kidnapped by ghost catchers, she got caught by the cosplay club, and they like tied her to a rod, tied her to a like, you know, that thing where your arms and legs get tied to a post that people are carrying?
Yeah. That
happened. But then our MC happened to run into her, and he was like, oh, I need to talk to her real quick. So then they like lean the post up against a tree as she's tied to it. And I was like, that's funny. I just needed to mention that. So anyway, she's showing up to this fight late, the magical girl, because of all that. And she does the thing that she does through the whole show, where she shows up and nobody sees her, and then she casts a big spell that like saves everyone, but nobody notices. So then they beat the big ghost using like, he pitches, he throws like the magical charms. He adopts a pitcher's stance and throws them because he was in the baseball club. He's a baseball player. And I was like, that's nothing, but that's more than you get with most shows of this type.
But It was a very touching moment. See through specifically the charm that said
like safe family.
Yeah, safe family.
But that like the charm so far had been hurting the ghost girl, but this charm doesn't hurt her because she's family. It's beautiful.
How far they've come.
Yeah, I cried. I don't think I cried.
No, I didn't cry one time.
I mean, I'm not going to rule out the possibility that I cried at some point during the show, but that was probably the one of the days that I watched a bunch of episodes of this show. I was a couple drinks in. It was so.
Fair enough. I mean, there were certain parts that I could see being definitely very much emotional.
I don't know if I cried, but my notes did get worse. My handwriting definitely got worse. Yeah, no, I can tell when I. All right, no. So yeah, that was that arc, and then we're not onto the we're onto the next arc.
The play.
The play. Yeah. There's a play. There's whatever. God, I'm just running out of steam. I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about and a bunch of stuff that I don't want to talk about. Mm. I kind of don't want to give a play-by-play, and then I'm like remembering a bunch of stuff that happened earlier in the show. I was remembering all the scenes where they're like, oh, you know, in order to fight over the apartment, we're gonna like play a bunch of games and like there'll be points in this whole system that like gets abandoned after episode 2 or 3. Gets abandoned after episode 3, I think. Like it does not come up.
Are you telling me you didn't watch the after episode a little bit every time?
I did a lot, and it still really wasn't that important.
I don't know. The Earth Girls little totem dudes played cards in one of them.
No, a couple of times they were playing cards, I think, because that's what they did for the first couple episodes.
Yeah,
and then it stopped mattering to the show. But
yeah, true.
I don't know. I was going to say something. Whatever. Yeah, no, there's a play. Everybody has to play characters. Would you believe our main character ends up being the main character of the play? By wacky circumstance.
How could this happen?
Just sheer coincidence. And then the club girl ends up being the female lead of the play, and it's like a romance.
Yeah, it made me swoon. It made me think, oh, the Knitting Girl Club president person, she is definitely the main girl.
Yeah, no, it was pretty clear, I think, that she was the main girl. Like, definitely by this point, where it's like, all right. But I liked that the magical girl, she played the back half of a horse. And I was like, that's funny. That's fun. And like, as part of like, when they were still looking for the female lead, they were like, who's going to play the female lead? None of these people seem quite right. Our main character was like, I know somebody who I can bring in to be the female lead of the play, but as part of the deal, I want you to make the magical girl not have to play the horse's ass, because she does not want to. She has to have her play something where you can see her face. But then they don't. They just don't. She just plays the back half of a horse. Because there's like, she cannot do anything else. She's useless.
She is the Aqua of this story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's one scene where they're like going to go practice the play, and he walks past somebody and he turns and he's like, oh, he's looking at them, and somebody's like, oh, what's up? And he's like, oh, I've never seen that person before. What the fuck are you talking? This is your first year at this school. You're like a couple months in. You know everybody in this entire school well enough that you can be like, hang on, wait, that person just happened to walk by. I couldn't help but notice. I don't know them. What are you talking about? There's most people in the world you do not know. Do you stare at everybody you don't know?
Yeah, this guy either has photogenic memory and just knows everyone all the time suddenly somehow, or I don't know, he's just very conveniently smart.
But what do you believe that character comes up later in the like next episode or this episode? At some point she comes back up. Oh, a weird thing that never got explained. Like constantly throughout this show, he'll be like doing something, or like, and someone would be like, or like so they'll be mentioned like the Blue Knight, or like something, and that's the character he's playing in the play. And people will be like, oh, you know, he really reminds me of this thing, or like whoa, he'll do something, and people are like, whoa, how is he doing that? He has some sort of important power, but it's not explained at all. What's going on? And the princess, the space princess, she's like, oh, you know, this guy really does seem like the Blue Knight, who's the character from the play that I wrote that's based on the like mythology of my people. But he's just like him for real. And then I think the underground girl also says something, like, I don't know, it was like a bunch of characters kept saying stuff specifically, like, I don't know, it was weird. I don't know what his deal is. Anyway, yeah, no, another princess girl shows up and they fight her, and it seemed for a moment like she had a plan, but her plan was dumb, and then she lost. And then she lost again to the magical girl who beat her up. This is approximately when the beetle thing shows up. There's a beetle.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it? I've been saying so much.
Talk about the whole beetle part. Oh, fuck. Right, that part. Yeah, so there was a pet beetle that the magical girl had to take care of for like 2 entire months, while also keeping it secret entirely from our best girl, Ruth. And for a good moment, they had her going because she's not from Earth. They just accidentally showed her one day. She didn't even know it was a beetle, so it was fine. But on this particular occasion, there's Rhinoceros Beetle Man, along with other beetles in this TV show. And the instant she realizes that Hercules is a beetle, she goes on a mindless rampage, basically just trying to swat anything she can find who angers her. And so she makes it all the way to the auditorium where the play is happening, and where there happens to be this evil princess who's rivaling Thea. But she arrives just in time to, get calmed down by some means. Do you remember how she snapped out of it?
She saw our main character dancing with the princess, and she was like, "Oh, they're vibing for real." And then she was like, "Oh, why am I here? What's going on?" And everyone was like, don't worry about it." I like the fact that every time she comes out of her rage state, I don't like that she does that, but I like when every time she comes out and she's like, oh, what's going on? Like, everyone's here, everyone's looking at me. Like, I don't remember what just happened. Like, what's up? And every time everyone's just like, don't worry about it. Like if I actually woke up somewhere and everyone was like looking at me, everyone was like, "Oh, are you all right?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, what happened?" And everyone was like, I don't think I'd just be like, "Oh, okay, you know what?
Don't fill me in. That's fine. Doesn't matter. An entire chunk of my life is now missing, and I'm lost without purpose." But I did think it was sweet how, even though our Lolly character, who is somehow 16, I liked how she and the main character just sort of did, a nice little dance, and they had a whole moment. And she was like, "Oh, this is truly my Blue Knight." And then he ends up being actually turned into one of his knights while he's sleeping later on.
No, she knights him while he's sleeping. And I, like, what's the rules for, like, knighting somebody? Like, if they're not conscious, I don't think that counts. I don't think it's, like, legally binding.
I think it's the same thing with, like, committing seppuku. So you have to have someone to oversee it. In this case, you also have to have the person who knights them, who has to be some sort of nobility, I think. And then the person typically has to be awake.
Yeah.
In order to be knighted.
I'm just going to skip over the boring parts. I'm going to keep going. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're to the end of that. They beat up this other girl, whatever. What is the next arc? That's the...
It's the based magical girl arc?
Yeah, it is. It is the magical girl arc. I thought so, because literally every line in my notes from here on just has the word magical girl in it.
Yeah.
So I thought it might be the magical girl arc. I like the fact that the magical girl, she becomes friends with the club girl, and she has no romantic interest in our main character at all.
No.
but she's just like hardcore wingmanning, wing girling, wing womaning for the club girl, who's our main girl, romantically anyway. No, she's just helping her out, but like there's one part where the club girl asks the magical girl, she's like, oh, you know, like I want to get like romantically closer to the main character. Like, do you have any like strats for that? And our genius magical girl is like, oh yeah, I've read a bunch of manga about romance. Here's what you can do. You're gonna ask him out on a date, and it's like, fuck, you know, shit, fuck, you know. Oh, how do I get closer to him? I want him to like me, but I don't know what to do. Hey, you could ask him out on a date. Damn.
You know, other shows, it would just be 10 episodes of her hiding behind someone and blushing or going, Gua, oh, it's you. Oh.
Doing the old Hinata routine, huh?
But no, this one, like I said before, it's way more realistic.
Yeah, no.
Just go on a date.
So she's like, just go on a date. Like, you should make it like a double date. I'll be there. I don't know, whatever. Just have some other people around so it's not weird. But just go on a date with him. Anyway, so we're on to the magical girl arc. So like, still nobody believes that the magical girl's a magical girl. Oh no, I really liked. There's another magical girl who's evil transfers into the class, and our magical girl is like instead of being like, oh no, it's my rival, she's like, yes, it's my rival. So she's like, you are a magical girl, I'm a magical girl. Like, nobody is believing me, but like, I'm gonna shout out the fact that this is a magical girl who just transferred in, and like she like hugs her, and the evil magical girl has no idea what's going on. It's good. But then she's like, oh, she's clearly plotting. She's this good magical girl. Everybody believes that she's just a cosplayer. What a genius strategy! But like, it's not. She's just dumb and useless and the best.
She just happened to fall into this position.
Yeah. So then, where I was, there was. Oh yeah, no. They have a party for the girl who just transferred in, because you gotta greet her, welcome her into the thing. So they go to that guy's tiny ass apartment with just a bunch of people. Like, there's
way
no
too
room.
many.
There's no room in that. Like, there's no oxygen in that room. It's just 100% filled with human. But then our magical girl shows up, and she's like she should not be here because this is the magical like wellspring that she wants to steal the magic from. So she's like, bro, you have to have her leave now. And everyone's like, I get it, you're doing your thing, but maybe you just don't. But then like she like gives our main character a look. She's like, and our main character is like pulls her aside and is like, hey, like is it, like what's going on? Like explain it to me. I can tell you're like serious about this. And I just like that. Like, nobody believes her. But like, she looks so serious that our main character is like, all right, something's going on, and like it this matters. This is important. But then because of wacky bullshit, they don't figure it out then. Yeah, no. Oh yeah. Then the magical girl feels bad because no one believes her and she leaves. But then she's like, this is, I'm gonna do some shit. Fucking. My notes suck. I'm sorry. My notes are genuinely bad.
I guess my notes were very much just little things that I noticed here and there, or little things that I liked for the most part.
I mean, my notes are all things that I liked and noticed, but there's a lot of them and they suck. It's bad. I took bad notes. The magical girl, the evil magical girl, and the good magical girl are like, let's have a big magical girl fight. And they make a big, they do all sorts of fighting. I like the magical girl's magic system, where they're like, they cast a spell, they like set parameters for this spell.
Yes.
They're like, oh, fireball, set parameter, very fiery. And it's like, hell yeah, that fireball's so fiery.
And then they'll scale it like, okay, times 4 scale.
Yeah. And, like they make a shield, and they're like shield surrounding the area, it's size colossal, very big shield.
And there's two of them, so it creates a massive square.
Yeah. And they seal off the block, and they fight. And then our magical girl is just getting. Oh, I like the spell. Oh, I like the spell that the evil magical girl does, where it's like a temporary like memory spell where you forget like the last second that happened. So like she she's like launches the spell, and her magical girl tries to bring up a magical shield, but she's slightly too late, and she gets hit by the spell. And then she like brings up another magical shield, and she's like, "Where the fuck did that girl go?" And then she like gets like hit with something, and I'm like, "Yo, that's just a cool spell where like you like it's not like a OP, but it's like just enough to give you an opening."
And it's almost like King Crimson, but different.
It's like. I mean, it kind. Whatever. I don't want to. Like,
a tangent into JoJo.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to stay like kind of focused because how fucking long have we been talking?
Well, you see, it's already been an hour.
It's been an hour. Let's wrap up this show. Let's like really fucking move. Our main character shows up. He can get through the shield because he has secret magic. He beats up the evil magical girl because he has secret magic. But then the evil magical girl tries to shoot she kidnapped the girl from the club that he likes. And she shoots like a fucking fireball at her and tries to kill her. But then her magical girl like teleports in front of the, like she tries to self-sacrifice to save everyone. And that's poggers. Because,
very emotional.
She became a magical girl. She was like a magical girl assistant, and the magical girl she got kidnapped by the evil guys, and the magical girl sacrificed herself in order to save her. And now she's a magical girl, and so she's like, self-sacrificial because she doesn't feel like she, etc., etc. Who cares? I care, actually. But fucking, I need to move! My notes suddenly stopped making so much sense. She leaves. She just like leaves using that distraction, and then they fight her again later at the apartment, and then she blows up the apartment, and she does a bunch of huge cool spells, and then our everybody shows up, and our princess uses like fucking orbital space lasers to fight a magical girl, and I was like, this is fucking poggers. And then she uses a memory spell to wipe everyone's memories so they don't remember that the magical girl is a magical girl, which is bad, I think. But, whatever. You got to maintain your status quo. Nothing can ever change in your show. So you can have your romance harem go on forever. This is something that all romance shows do. Every single one of them is like, nothing can ever change. Everything needs to stay exactly the same forever.
Yes.
It's sort of in the DNA of the genre, and it sucks. It's bad.
It's very unfortunate, because I would have just watched an entire Magical Girl show based on her being the main character and having this guy. But even like the guy and the group of girls, sure, but have it be focused just on the Magical Girl. Have it go off into just Magical Girl stuff.
I really liked the Magical Girl. She was like the best character. I liked how she had like a dumb voice that was like very funny every time she says something.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm so magical. And, but then like when she gets serious, she would just talk normally. Like that's not like actually her, like, she's like a capable living human being who's just like funny and dumb sometimes.
Her unintelligible crybaby sort of language.
It's not always. I think she's just under a lot of stress. It's very emotional, emotionally taxing. Anyway, we go on to the next arc. What was the Earth Girl? Oh yeah, I liked the this arc starts with. I think it starts with we're shown the group that's going to be that we think is going to be the antagonists. And they're like the Sun Rangers,
Squad.
Sun Squad, something. And they're like just a bunch of high schoolers who are bored, and like they're like the first shot is like the like little plaque outside of a building,
Yeah.
When where it like lists all the businesses that are in the building, or all the offices and stuff, and one of them is just like, oh, it's these guys, and it's like it's just a bunch of high schoolers in an office, and like it's not like a secret organization or anything. It's just sort of nothing, and they're like bored, and because their whole job is to fight the invasion of the underground people who haven't shown up in thousands of years. I'll identify the fact that all these high schoolers are color coded, but then when they show up later in uniform, they're all not color. They're all wearing the same color as like their Super Sentai thing. Their Power Rangers esque.
Yes.
They're all red. They're all wearing red, and they just get like absolutely demolished for that. So the Earth Girl is active in the community. She is an active participant in the commune. It was like I don't remember what it was called. Like she's like some I don't know. She's an active participant in the community. She's helping organize stuff and like cleaning up the town. But she's they're doing like a play to entertain children, a children's play.
Yep.
Everyone does another play. The magical girl's a horse this time as well, but this time she's the entire horse because it's a lower budget play. So she gets to be the entire. She gets to be the whole horse.
Whole horse.
You know, in life, everybody wants to be the whole horse. There was just a lot of. I can tell. I can tell by my notes. This is the day that I'd had a couple, but this episode there's lots of amusing stuff in the play because it doesn't go. You know, there's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah,
like the hero. Our most of our characters are playing the villains of the play, and then they're like you know, oh, we're gonna do evil stuff, and then they're just waiting for the hero to show up and. There's like the big puff of smoke where the hero's supposed to arrive, and
then he just doesn't.
Yeah, the exact thing was finally he's still not here. I was like that's funny. Then our these sun guys show up and they're all wearing the red morph suits, and our main character just goes off on them, absolutely bullies them into oblivion. Like it's like mean. And I was like, that's really funny, except for the one part where he's like, oh, this is so pathetic. What are you trying to do? Give Eureka a run for her money? And I'm like, bro, you cannot just call that girl pathetic. Stop that. You can call them pathetic because they are, but don't talk about my magical girl.
And after she saved the club president?
Yeah, bro.
I mean, come on. I liked how specifically during the play there were just a couple of kids who just they have the maturity syndrome that some characters have, and they were just cracking some funny jokes.
Yeah, no, there was just a little bit of child banter.
Yeah, and I was surprised that they would even do that in this show, but I felt sort of Spy X Family-ish.
Yeah, it actually did kind of feel that way. Although that might just be because you have a bunch of like kindergartners, anime kindergartners, who are just chatting up and hanging out. That's what happens in Spy Family.
Yeah, a bunch of kindergartners are hanging out.
Then after the play, the Earth Girl. First of all, she's good with kids. We love a woman who's good with kids, don't we, folks?
The Japanese sure do.
They want more women who are good with kids. Because have you seen the Japanese birth rate? Am I right?
It's horrible. It's pretty horrible.
I'm trying to think of some sort of joke where I can name drop Shinzo Abe. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Then she goes off to like go clean the town, just like sweep streets and stuff. And then like they run into her in the town, and she's just surrounded by a bunch of girls from her like underground Earth empire that's trying to invade the surface. And everyone's like, there's just a scene where everyone's like vaguely concerned. They're like a bunch of people from the empire who wants to invade are here, but like they're just cleaning. Like this doesn't seem like them invading. Like this isn't a problem, but it's like kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you see a whole army of ants outside your house during the summer, and then you look over behind you while you're just chilling in your room, and there's the army of ants.
Is it like that?
It's kind of like that, except it's more concerning when the ants are there.
Yeah. But then, how the hell do we get from here to the amusement park?
Well, she says she wants to go on a date at one point.
Yeah, no. Before that, I'm looking at my notes here, and I can just about distinguish what it says. There's a scene where she's underground and she's talking to her father, who's like the chief, and he's like, hey, good job with the invasion plan. The invasion plan is really going well, but then he's like, maybe we should speed it up so that the other guys, the other internal faction who we need to like satisfy, they really just want to hurry up and invade the surface already. And it's like, oh, like there's a little bit more like politicky stuff where she's kind of like, she doesn't really want to invade the surface, but she has to do all this stuff just to like maintain order within the group, because there's like different factions who all have different goals.
Yeah, and for the most part, they just want to invade the surface.
Yeah.
Except for her.
So then, what the fuck is my note? My notes are. He goes on a date with the underground girl, but just they're just vibing, just hanging out, because she's not really romantically interested in him, and he's not romantically interested in her. Just two platonic friends going on a date.
Which you don't really see that too often in anime.
There's the scene where they mention that to all the other girls, and just everybody, like the princess, the space princess, obviously she's upset. But then also the magical girl is upset because she's like, you should be dating the, like, she what she says is that he should have taken her and the club girl out on a date. And I'm like, the club girl, because that's who you want him to date. But why are you there? Why are you in the date? And then I wrote something, scribbled it out, and then wrote French threesome. I was
French threesome.
Ménage à trois. I was trying to write, but I couldn't spell it.
I mean, I guess Earth, and then the guy, he like lights up white when he's doing his special thing, so that's wind. And then we have the girl who uses lasers. That's kind of fire.
Okay.
And then knitting. Just knitting.
Oh, I also wrote bisexual Eiffel Tower magical girl.
Oh, what's that in reference to?
Figure it out.
Okay, sure.
So then they go to the fucking amusement park, and the Earth girl explains her shit, and her whole deal is that like 10 years ago when she was a small child, like 6 years old apparently, because she's 16. Who knew? But she went to the surface and she met like a guy, an older guy, and she fell in love with him, and that
at 6
would well you know how children are, they don't care.
Oh yeah, true.
But then like when she describes this guy as like her first and only love, and I'm like, that's base as hell. That that she doesn't really. She's not romantically interested in this guy she's on a date with. She's just, she's just reliving a date that she had with another guy 10 years ago because she's trying to like remember more stuff about it. And then she wants to go on a roller coaster, but then before she can, a fucking Earth submarine shows up full of guys, and then there's a laser fight. Actually, it's not a laser fight. They pull out guns. And their guns look like laser guns, and they make laser gun noises, but then they just shoot bullets.
Yeah, it's just basically an Earth gun.
Yeah, no. So they're that faction that was mentioned earlier, and then they get beaten because everybody beats them. But they have a giant robot, and I was like, what would be great for fighting this giant robot is that giant orbital laser would be great for fighting this this robot.
Yeah.
They don't use it. This is the one fight in the entire show they don't use the giant orbital laser. Instead, they just use a bunch of normal regular lasers, which work fine. But fucking use the giant lady. You have a giant robot to fight, lady.
Yeah, you could be making a huge statement, maybe gain the respect of the Earth people. You know, she, specifically the Lolly Princess, is trying to gain the respect of the people to rule over everyone.
Yeah, no, that's her thing, is that she needs to get people to agree to be ruled by her. And then she can become the queen of space.
I'd want to be ruled by someone with a giant orbital laser.
Yes. And then the magical girl makes a force field and saves everyone. And then that's like it of that episode, that arc.
Mm-hmm. Although,
yeah,
the Earth Girl does say that now our main boy, whatever his name is.
Fuck, I don't know his name.
Oh, I have it written somewhere. Let me just look through my notes real quick. Trust me, it is Satomi Kotaro. Yeah, the Earth Girl says, hey, you're my best friend above ground.
They just straight up become best friends, and I'm like, that's based. Like, there's some scenes later where they're like, just pals. They're just friends. They're just vibing.
Yep, totally platonic, totally wholesome.
She just has massive breasts, that's all.
Yep, that's it. Just really big boobs.
Like, oh yeah, no, it's in like the final episode, I think. Yeah, no, we're the final episode now, aren't we? Mm-hmm. It's like a Christmas thing, and he like gets his secret second job to get a bunch of money for like a surprise Christmas thing for all his friends. But then like when all the people find out that he has a second job, or he has a secret job, and everyone finds out. But then his big-breasted best friend, like, is like just covers for him, and like they're just pals. They're just friends.
Yeah,
you know, we love to see a healthy relationship between friends. And then, fucking, I don't care. This episode was just nothing.
Well, I will want to point out the biggest thing, which was that twist at the end that I was talking about.
Right. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, so this was when the president of the knitting club, at the very, very end, met up with our main character, and...
Oh, yeah! Oh, I remember what you're talking about! She fucking becomes the thing, the white princess from the fucking play. Silver Princess. And I don't know what the fuck that was.
And she specifically called to him as the name of the first Blue Knight.
Yes. So, like, I have to assume the reincarnations of, like, through the ages, these two people are reincarnated and they're constantly, like, whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I kept I'm wondering if it's like a direct generational thing, like if his dad before him was like the Blue Knight, and maybe his mom was. Well, it's sort of weird if he's dating the reincarnation of his mom, but I don't know. I'm assuming that the 10 years. No, I don't know. I don't know if the ages line up. I feel like no, because I was thinking like 10 years ago, the Earth girl, or the guy the Earth girl met 10 years ago could have been. But like that was, he was shown wearing a high school uniform, and 10 years doesn't work for that being his dad. I don't know. There was stuff in the show that wasn't explained, and we love it, but then we like to ponder it.
Yes, that was what confused me most. So what did you rate Invaders of the Rokujouma?
I gave it an 8.
Okay, not bad. I'd say 8 is pretty high.
What do you give it?
I gave Invaders of the Rokujouma a 5.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. Although I don't know. Maybe it's because I was paying so much attention, taking so many notes. But I thought it was pretty good.
I felt bored with it at times. I definitely thought that each episode kind of nothing happened, even when stuff happened. It just wasn't super.
There was no episode where nothing happened for me because I was so invested in the character arc of the magical girl. Mm-hmm. Like, so invested.
No, the magical girl arc was the best arc in the whole show. That was a 10 out of 10 arc.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to mention about the whole show? Like, I can't think of anything now, but there was probably stuff that I wanted to mention that I didn't.
I guess all I could say is, in terms of watching this show, I would definitely recommend it if you like a slower paced show that's more about character development than plot.
I thought the characters in the show were really strong.
Yep, the characters were extremely strong in terms of how they treated them. Aside from that, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything. I can't think of anything else. Like I say, I'm sure there's a bunch of important stuff that I wanted to mention that I didn't, because I didn't take the time to go through my notes again and fucking clear everything up. But
I mean, to be fair, I feel like we just gave a synopsis of the entire show.
yeah, no, we did, and that's definitely not what I wanted to do. I'm really angry, but like, I don't think I'm gonna have that problem with the other show, because my notes were worse for that show. So I think I'm just gonna have to talk about stuff that I liked.
Okay.
I took a lot less notes about what was happening in the show, I think.
Fair enough. Do you just want to jump right to Bocchi?
I didn't watch Bocchi the Rock when it was new. Because the last time I tried to watch a show that I felt was similar to this, I hadn't seen this, so I didn't know what it was really like. But the last time I watched a show that I felt was similar to this was I watched Zombieland Saga, or whatever it's called, where there's zombies and they're idols, and I didn't like that show. I know people like it, but I didn't. And I was like, clearly it has to do with the fact that we've got a bunch of girls singing songs, and it's like a cute girls music anime. That's why I didn't like it, clearly. Not anything else about the show. So I was sort of nervous about watching the show, but I had heard so much good stuff about it.
Yeah, Bocchi the Rock was a big name in fall of 2022.
Is that when it came out?
Yes.
I don't know. I have no sense of time. But yeah, no. I did want to watch the show, and I felt like this was a good excuse to watch it. I'm just gonna get this out of the way at the beginning. Like, half the notes I took are just either the word relatable or the phrase "she's just like me." She's just like me for real.
All right.
So she's just like me. She's just like me for real, and it's very relatable.
There were a lot of places where I felt very related to, with the whole personality trait of anxiety, along with just everything that comes with that.
Yeah, we love anxiety, don't we, folks?
Yeah, intrusive thoughts as well, and the awkwardness of certain scenes. Mm-hmm. It felt very real.
This show was, I gotta say, this show was great. Yeah. This show was really fucking, just on all fronts. It was firing on all cylinders. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, this one was a trip, from the fact that they were doing fourth wall breaks to showing scenes that were taken IRL.
Yeah, no, like all the mix of media stuff. We've got like animation. Like, there were some scenes that were like animated, like it was the 90s. There was some scenes that were 3D. There was literally like a blender, like a fucking blender simulation. Yeah. There was fucking like actual like pictures and like actual video, like live action. Like, there was everything. Like, they just all the different techniques and styles they used. This is like really crazy, like really impressive stuff.
Yeah, this is something that the studio didn't need to do, but they just decided to do, and I think that makes the show even better than I think it was. If it was handled by a studio that had a lower budget, I feel like this wouldn't have been.
If you had the same story and all the same characters, all the same voice actors giving the same performances on the same scripts, but the show just didn't look this good, I don't think it would work.
Yeah, it would not work as well, not nearly.
Like I actually read a little bit about this show, besides just watching it, because like it was so good I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Okay.
Like the concert scenes. Apparently, they had actual performers perform it, and they shot it with all like the different camera angles, and then they made like 3D renders of the concert, and then they gave those to animators and had them animate based on 3D renders of live action. Like, what the fuck is going on? And it comes out so good.
Yeah. The first concert they did where they had the camera at like the head of the guitar.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking went hog wild for that shot, because that's something I've seen from like actual videos of concerts. Is you stick the little GoPro on the end of the guitar, and it's a fucking crazy shot, and then they fucking did it. They did it in anime,
And they did it several times too.
yes, with like different angles. Like, oh man, like there was just some others, like even when it's just a shot of people talking, they'll do like crazy, like they'll have like way too good of animation, or there was like one shot in like the first episode, I think, where they're talking, and then like the two bandmates were in the first episode, they're talking, and then Bocchi the Rock is in the distance, and she walks up, and it's like this crazy distorted fisheye shot. It looks fucking insane, and it's like this is just people talking. It's like, why is it shot like this? But it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's nothing special, and again, props to the studio for going that extra mile.
Oh god, like you can tell that every single person who was working on this was giving it their entire, like they were just going fucking. Everybody was passionate. Just like every single thing in the show was perfect.
Not to mention rock music. I'm a big enjoyer of rock music.
I loved all the music in this show.
Yeah.
Like from like not just this, like the opening and the ending were great, but the like the songs they play in the show are great. Yeah. But then like just like the background music in the show was fucking good too, because it's a show about goddamn music. So they like it's just all good music.
Yeah, so they really focused on it, and they brought that atmosphere.
There was so much stuff in this show that was just them, like characters talking about the live music scene in Tokyo, Japan. That was like, I didn't know this much about live houses in Japan. I didn't know this much about like what it's like to be an amateur touring an amateur performing musician. Like I know so much. Like there's just like a lot of stuff in this show.
Yeah, these are things that you don't, normally hear about. You'd have to really look for them to just stumble upon this kind of stuff.
Like clearly, the mangaka fucking knew her shit. I think it was a lady.
Oh yeah, probably.
I think it was a lady. I don't want to get this wrong. Clearly, the mangaka knew their shit. Their ambiguously gendered clearly they knew their shit. They fucking study up. I read a little like they just done other manga, and they were like, I want to do one about music now, and they fucking nailed it. Music and anxiety. Fucking they just nailed it perfectly. Crazy. Here's a fun fact that I bet you didn't know.
All right.
The names of all our main characters in the band, they're all their last names are taken from members of the band Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. In fact, all the bands in the show, there's like in the manga, there's even another band, I think, but the two bands we have in the show, like the other band, all their names are taken from another real life band, or all their last names, or whatever. So it's like it's just full of like references and stuff. Oh, besides even the references to real life bands, there's a bunch of references to like anime and stuff in this show.
Oh yeah, there are many references.
Like this is the sort of thing that I wanted to go through my notes and like pull everything out and sort it. But like there was a bunch of anime references. I definitely noticed the fuck out of an Eva reference.
Oh, there was a Evangelion reference?
Yes, there was.
Oh, wow.
When she is in like the nurse's office, and she like wakes up and she looks at the ceiling and she's like, an unfamiliar ceiling. It's an Ava reference. No shit. What were the other ones? Can you remember any of the references here?
Yeah, one that really stood out to me was the Yamcha death pose.
Oh God, yes, the Yamcha death pose. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, fuck, I can't remember it, but that's definitely from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, when I saw that, that sort of was the icing on the cake for me.
That was crazy. Like that's the sort of shit that, like that's, oh God, that's so good.
Yeah, like, you know, it's little things like that, and that is attributed to the mangaka who did that. But it shows you interest in, you know, the whole scene of anime and manga, which is nice. And you know, it's popular. Like, I've seen Dragon Ball. My friend over here is watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I'm watching Dragon Ball Z Kai, baby. I'm sure I'm watching the Majin Buu arc.
It's pretty good. He's about to get Majin Dan, so...
Sorry, I'm just going through my notes right now. I can't really offer much. I'm trying to find more like there were a bunch more references.
They did refer to two guys who were just these massive buff dudes going to the maid cafe as Mad Max.
Oh yeah, like they kept like name dropping stuff, and like,
yeah,
because that's like how people mention media when they're just talking. You're hanging out with your friends, you're talking, and you're just gonna reference stuff because that's how human beings sound. In this show, like just the dialogue, like it's everything about the show is really strong, but like the dialogue and stuff, it's good.
Yeah, I really enjoy it personally. I think it was the last episode we had another Dragon Ball reference.
Was there?
Yeah, Bocchi, I don't remember what was happening exactly, but she starts going Super Saiyan.
No, I asked that and then I remembered, yeah, she just goes Super Saiyan at one point.
Yeah, like she's doing the whole rev up for Super Saiyan 3 or whatnot.
Anyway, you don't know which Super Saiyan is going to be.
True. I don't know if she was going even further beyond or...
Yeah. I can tell I found an important part in my notes because there's like just so much stuff written here, like different angles and squeeze stuff in. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the fact that Oh no. All right. That's a sweet scene that I have written here. But I like, so she gets like roped into playing with the band that one time, but like she's a fucking really good guitar player. But she sucks in the band because like it's not just about playing the guitar. It's about like working with the band people and like watching them like performing as a group. So despite the fact she's really good, she sucks. And it's like that's good. That's really good because it's like working off of like the character stuff and it's like presenting like a challenge. So she's overpowered, but she's not overpowered because of like all this situational stuff. Like it's good.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you like to see where there's someone who has a specific skill set and the story throws, you know, a curveball at that. It makes it really interesting to watch and very entertaining when, you know, you see the woes of trying to make it past that specific challenge and how satisfying it is once they fully are able to make it past it and sort of cope with the challenge, if not beat it altogether. Which by the end of the show, Bocchi goes from playing guitar in a mango box to performing in front of like 100 to 200 of her classmates. So I'd say that's a pretty big transformation.
I didn't get very emotional watching the other show. I did get very emotional watching this show. Like when she's like working and she's the first time she's like serving drinks or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, you know, the like she's inspired by I don't remember what, and like a girl walks up and is like, "Hey, can I have some orange juice?" And it's like the big scene is like her like being like, "Yes, I'll get you some orange juice. Hang on." And it's like I was like, I was fucking going hog wild. I was like almost crying. I was like, yo, she's giving her orange juice, yo.
She's doing it.
Like I was going like, fuck, no. But no, the fucking scene where I went absolutely the most hog wild, where I absolutely like lost it. Like I fucking when like the second time they play as the band, when they have like everybody, like they're like auditioning to actually play at the venue, and it's like, oh no, it's not when they're auditioning, it's after. Or no, is it when they're auditioning? Yeah, no, it's when they're auditioning, and like it's not going like the best, and but then like Bocchi is just like, all right, it's time to get serious, and she like slams her foot down and just gets it, and it's like, fuck that. Just that oh god damn.
Yeah, that was an incredibly powerful.
I lost it.
There were moments like that in the show that I just
like my heart was fucking pounding, and I was like, yo.
Oh yeah, no, you're planted to the seat at that point, and just it's so immersive at that point.
Like I've just got a bunch of like different like shots that I thought were interesting here. Like that was where they had like the shot from the end of the guitar. But then like later on there's a shot where I think it's where she's sitting down to write lyrics, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. But it's a shot from inside of like her bangs. So like you see like her bangs covering like half the screen, and then like what she's looking at like below, and it's like it's interesting. That's weird. That's fun. Like a POV shot, but she has like the bangs over her face. It was good. There was like after that, apparently at some point there was like a pixel art sequence where it was like, I don't know, like just all the shit that they did in the show.
Their mom and their dad, and I think the younger sister and the dog, they had like this mandala massive pixel spinning panorama thing going on.
Oh, there was like God, there's so much cool shit in the show.
Oh, and that was the same episode after the audition specifically, where they showed a bunch of Japanese dams overflowing.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Oh, that was because she threw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just showed a bunch of dams, and you're like, oh, this is a dam, and it's like showing like this spillway opening up and stuff. Oh god, it was crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I was just looking through. Oh, good. Here's the Saitama Dam. What is this? They're showing real dams. Why? But why in a good way? That was a very fun touch.
Oh, when she had to sell the tickets to their show, and the fucking drunk girl showed up. Like that was poggers.
Yeah, I really liked the drunk girl. She's a bit wild.
I liked the fact that she later said like, oh yeah, I started drinking because I was like too nervous and anxious to like play, but now she's like a crippling drunk.
Yeah, she has a cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, her happiness cycle. You know, the happiness cycle where you like, oh no, good.
When you're coming down from it, you just have to find a whole bunch more booze and
and then you're happy again.
Yeah.
And this was totally fine. That was. There's just so much. Like I could talk for an hour about any episode in this show, but like when she was with the drunk and like the drunk's actually like inspiring her when she thought she was, but then no, like she's like, oh, she's helping her sell the tickets, and she's like, oh, I'll play the song for you, and they're playing the song, and Bocchi's like, she doesn't know the song, she's just improvising, and she's like, oh, it's like she's seeing this talent. She's like, oh, and you're like, fuck, God, I don't know, I'm incomprehensible. Just because I really, really liked this show. Just so much about it.
Yeah, that scene was particularly nice because, you had just all these random strangers on the street, and there were those two girls who decided to buy the tickets afterwards because, Bocchi sort of kicked herself into gear at one point and just shredded it. So it was nice to see not only the drunk girl, but also those two fans show up several times at a couple of the concerts in the future.
Yeah. I think all the concerts and the rest of the show, they show up.
Yeah.
I just have written here, I'm just like gushing about like a shot, but I don't say what the shot was, so.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Do you have any feelings on the endings? All the endings?
I liked them.
Okay.
I can't remember them.
Fair enough.
I think I liked them, though.
I mean, for the most part, I think I skipped most of the endings. After I listened to it once, for me, it wasn't anything too crazy, so I just sort of skipped past. But I liked how the animation style was very simple and reminded me of Diary of a Wimpy Kid a little bit with the line work. Like, have you seen the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie?
No.
Ah, well, there you go. Anyone who has.
Anybody who's witnessed the cinema that is Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, if you remember that at all, or the drawing style.
The familiar filmic style really comes through.
Yeah, I mean, it's the animation mostly in the ending where it's stick figures, but not. They're just very, very simple, thick lines. They are very bold and just smooth, very rounded edges. It was nice. Very cute.
I cannot remember the ending.
I'm sorry. Fair enough.
Literally all I remember is the ending of Invaders of the Rokujouma, because I fucking love that ending. I went hog wild for that ending.
Oh fuck! What was the ending like for that?
It was good.
I need to look that up here in a second.
Yeah, no, we're listening to that later, because that ending, like was good. That ending was good. But no, hang on. Let me see here. Oh, I liked how people just kept calling things rock. Like, they're like, oh, that's so rock.
Yeah.
And like, half the time it made sense, and half the time it didn't really.
Yeah, like, this talisman is so rock, dude.
Yeah.
These pictures of all of us that she apparently hung all over the wall, that's
rock.
Rock, dude.
God, no, I didn't want to do the play-by-play, so I'm not going to start reading off shit. But, like, so much stuff in this show was good. Just every time, just everything. Just every second of the entire show was good. I can't just name all the good stuff, because it's all of it. I knew I wouldn't be able to say as much about this show as about the other show, because just everything was good. Like, what am I going to take notes about? What am I going to talk about? Because everything was good.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can say, unless you thought anything was bad at all.
Everything was good.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, my favorite thing was when they name dropped the show, and the girl with the red hair.
The Rock.
Yeah. Or it might have been the blonde girl.
It was the blonde girl.
Yeah.
Because that was right after she talked about how her sister was in a successful band, but then she left the band to start the live house.
Yeah.
Because, like, for the sister, there's and she's like, oh, so now I've got to be in a band. Like, I have to succeed. I have to try my hardest.
Yeah.
So like for my sister. And so
Oh man. And Bocchi, she buckled down on her resolve, and she was like, you know what? Being famous is one thing, but now I just want to see this band be successful too. And man, was she the Bocchi Rock at that point.
Like literally any time that Boccher did anything, like anytime she said something or like performed a task, I just wrote about it, and I was like, oh God, look at her, she's trying so hard. I believe in her. Oh man, God.
I mean, at some level, I guess that could be like patronizing almost.
No, but like it was just like everything, like oh no, God, just so inspirational seeing. You're really rooting for her.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want her to succeed after. She plays that, again, anxious, sort of loner character very well.
I liked the scene where it's in like episode 2 when they're the three girls are talking, and it's they're like introducing themselves, and Bocchi sees what the blue-haired girl. What's her name? Rio.
Yeah, Rio.
Whatever. And she's like, oh, she's just like me. She's just like me for real.
Yeah.
But then she's like, she's not like me. I'm lonely, and she's a loner. Like we're completely different, actually. Like, we're both alone, but like she likes it. She chooses to be alone, and I'm alone because I'm pathetic and sad. And it's like, I thought that was interesting. Like, because like so many times in the show, she's like uses it to like introverted and like, anxiety riddled and incapable of functioning.
Yeah,
like interchangeably, which a lot of people do. This is something you'll see in reality, is that people are like, oh, ooh, I'm so introverted. I can't talk to people. I have a panic attack every time I talk to people. I'm so introverted. And it's like, that's not what the word introverted means.
No.
But that's how people actually talk in real life. So I think it's acceptable that the show does it. But then, like, she meets somebody who's actually just introverted. Somebody who just, like, is like a loner and it doesn't like need to be surrounded by a lot of people. And she's like, oh, she's like me. Oh no, she's not like me. We're completely different. But I really do like the blue-haired girl, Rio. She was like my favorite character.
Yeah, she was
besides
cool.
Bocchi.
Yeah, of course. And then the girl from the other band, which the blonde girl's older sister used to be a part of, if I'm remembering correctly. There was a girl who was basically the exact same personality and kind of even looked similar to Rio. I thought she was sort of like a nice, if you looked into the future, this would be her type of look.
I think the other band was just sort of like everybody in the future, except if Bocchi became a drunk.
Right. Which, I don't know. Maybe she would.
I mean, the drunk girl was like, oh, you look like a future drunk to me.
Yeah. Maybe she's just set up for it.
Yeah. No, I liked, there was the one part where, Red... Oh, I love how gay the show was. The show is so gay for women.
Yeah.
Like constantly.
There was even that one scene which was very traditional, like yaoi or yuri style, where it was two characters, I don't remember who, but they were jumping towards each other, and they had that sort of sparkly Corn High School host club background-ish going on.
I don't remember the exact shot that you're describing, but I entirely believe you.
Mm-hmm.
No, those girls sure were gay. And we stand it.
Yeah.
Hang on. What was I... Oh, yeah, there was that... But I like that one. Like I like the just. I'm gonna skip describing the scene, but it doesn't matter. But the point is that Rio is described as like saying things 90% of the time just for the vibe. It's like, oh yeah, she'll just say something that's not true, just because it like fits. Like it just works in the moment, and it's like, you know what? Damn, that's also relatable.
Yeah, that is very relatable.
That's cool as hell. Bocchi, their second concert where it's there was the storm and then they got a small crowd, and then like the crowd wasn't very good. Like people were like, who are these assholes? Gabagool.
Yeah, I hate these guys.
And they're playing and it's not going very well. But then Bocchi just saves the show. And just goes like ham. Just like I assume I read it as everybody was really nervous and anxious because there's the first show and there was the crowd there and they weren't really feeling it. But I assume in my own mind, this isn't stated, but I assume that Bocchi was able to rise to the occasion because she's used to constantly being under like horrible anxiety. So she's just used to it. So she's able to rise above.
I want to say with that particular scene, not only did the show portray people not really feeling the concert, but I myself got so immersed in it that once the typhoon came in and I was there watching the show and looking at the performance and hearing it, I felt like a little, This is not so great. They got to kick it up.
Yeah, no, fuck, this show is good.
Yeah, very good show.
Just going through my notes, seeing anything else. I liked that like pretty early on, the manager saw Bocchi like playing something, was like, I figured her out. She's
Yeah.
But then like, yeah, no. So she's like, I know she's like a way better player than this. She just needs to like develop the skills. So she like entirely believes in her. She's kind of tsundere.
Yeah, the manager was a huge hard ass, despite the fact that she believed they were making actual progress.
Yeah, just all of it. Just everything that happens in this show is good. Like, I don't want to just read off all my notes. I've gotten to the Yamcha scene in my notes.
Oh, wow. I'll say I've never seen a magical girl transformation quite like Bocchi with her mustache and superstar glasses. I thought that was a lot of fun. Not to mention when Kyo is trying to figure out what she's trying to eat, so she's sending them T-shirt ideas with just her food on it.
I was like, wow, these ideas are really like avant-garde. This is really crazy. And then she's like, oh, what should I eat? I'm like, oh.
And not only that, but they're pictures of real food too.
I like the fact that every time Bocher wants to be cool, she puts on the star sunglasses, and then when they're out and they're they're approached by some cool guys, they're wearing the star sunglasses, and I'm like, I've never seen in my entire life anybody wearing the star sunglasses, but it just keeps showing up.
Oh yeah, those beach.
The beach bros, yeah.
And they did the whole they're bobbing up and down.
The whole thing. God, just like it's everything. Literally any scene from the show, there's something like crazy going on. Something so cool. I like. I've just noticed here in my notes. On the topic of this show being really gay. This scene where Bocher is thinking about signing up for to play at the festival.
Yes.
She's fantasizing about it, and she's playing. You know, her band's playing at the a big concert, and like a girl in the crowd is shouting out about how she wants to fuck a Bocher.
Oh yeah. I think it was specifically something like, "I want to bed you" or something.
Yeah, I want you in my bed or something. Yeah. And then after that, when she wakes up from her fantasy. And there's two girls in front of her who are chatting, and one of them is like, "Oh yeah, I sure would be attracted to anybody who plays a concert at the school." And just immediately Bocchi's like, "All right, I have to do it." It's like, man, this girl's not straight, huh?
She's very bi-motivated. Is that a term I can use? Did I just make that up?
We did it, folks. I don't want to just read off stuff that happened in the show, but when they're talking about the concert, and Rio's like, "Oh yeah, I played a concert at my school once, and I just played a bunch of songs that nobody knew or liked," and it's like she's like super proud of it, but then she's actually not proud of it. She feels bad about it, but she's like, "Oh yeah, I just played a bunch of songs no one wanted to hear, and the crowd didn't like it."
Yeah, just another thing she said for the vibes, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, cat girls. I just have the phrase "cat girls" here. When the drunk and Rio they're in debt and they get cat ears. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the traditional. There's something about a Japanese cat thief or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I assumed it was some Japanese thing that I wasn't entirely there for. But fuck, I don't know. It excited me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun when cat ears just started spawning on people's heads. Fuck it, why not? As some sort of cultural thing, but
I like the fact they mention that Rio is dumb. She's really bad at school. She gets bad grades.
Oh.
But then when like they ask her some sort of question about music, and she just goes off and just starts like she just knows it's like, oh, she's not dumb. She just does not care about school. She's just entirely focused on music.
Yeah, because she started spewing like a Wikipedia page at one point.
And it's like she mentions like oh, how did you get into this like really good school if you get bad grades? And she's like, oh yeah, I just studied a whole bunch the day before.
Yeah,
but I don't like doing that because then I forget all about music. Like she can only know one thing at a time, and it's either school or music, and she chooses music.
A fun little character trait.
I like the 3 B's of who to never date. And that's bassists, bassists, and bassists.
Which is a real hard hitter for red-haired girl.
God, I cannot read my notes. I'm sorry. Maid Bocher, cross-dressing Rio, 3D Bocher. Oh, my notes end with 3D Bocher. I don't think that was even the last episode.
No, I think that was second to last. If that was the one where she T-posed and flew through.
She T-posed and flew through the classrooms and knocked over like a pile of blocks.
Yeah.
And like in the corner was like the 3-axis like thing.
Yeah.
Oh God. Everything about this show, literally everything was perfect. Like I don't know what to say about the show. It was just really good.
Yep. So you would recommend watching this show?
No. Yes. No. Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would. I'm glad that I was the last person on Earth to watch the show, because it means that I don't need to convince other people to watch the show.
Yep. And as the only other person who you would have needed to convince to watch the show.
Yeah, you watched the show and you fucking loved it too.
Yeah.
I assume.
So it works.
Yeah. One of the I read about the apparently the manga wasn't even like it wasn't even that big. Like nobody expected the anime to be this big, but it was just so good that it blew up. Like it was the sort of thing like at the next convention after the show where the mangaka was like selling stuff and just got absolutely swarmed. And, like they had to move the mangaka to like a different room in the convention, like just so that like the thousands and thousands of people wouldn't like just fuck everything up.
Man, that must be a crazy like when it hits you that you're getting that kind of reception.
Like I think they only just started translating the manga to English. It's like that sort of thing where it's like it wasn't like huge. It like just like an animation studio is like maybe we should adapt this, and they were just passionate about it, and they just did really good. That's all it was. Just everybody cared. It wasn't a huge thing that was a sure bet. Just everybody cared so much that they made something like incredible.
Right, and then it just sort of worked out. And does that mean the manga is actually finished? And that was all that was there?
I don't remember.
Okay. Because I could see there being a second season of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
like there is more to the manga, but I don't know how much. I don't know if it's still running.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I hope it continues. I mean, it's not something that even necessarily needs a second season. Because how do you top that first season?
God, that show was nuts.
But I don't know. Still a second season of it. I'm sure people would be excited.
Is there anything else?
I'm good to go and do the rating real quick. I mean, I gave it a 9 personally.
Yeah, I gave it a 9. I'm thinking about upgrading that to a 10. Maybe I'll watch it again and then reappraise. But that was a fucking incredible show.
Yeah, that one had my attention the whole time.
And she really is just like me. She is just like me for real.
For real.
Like there were so many moments when she's like, "Oh, I want to do this thing to improve my life," and then she's like, maybe I could just not make my life better. Maybe I could just not challenge myself and do this thing that I want to do. And it's like, God, it's just like 1,000, like, oh, God. This show is really good, and it really understands. It's well written.
Yep, highly recommend you watch it if you haven't, but apparently we are the last two people.
Last two people on the face of the earth to watch this show.
Yep. The Alibaba has seen this show.
Well, that this podcast has been really bad, but this is episode 0 of the podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking. Hopefully, in the future, it improves. I sort of forgot I was on a podcast for a while there.
That's the best way to do it, I think. Kind of.
Well, maybe. I don't know what I said.
Do we have any outro?
I don't know. But hopefully, maybe get a third person for the podcast, or dare I say, more than 3. Maybe fucking figure out the format a little bit better. I think we did better talking about the second show than the first.
Agreed.
We definitely don't need to do a whole summary of every episode of a goddamn show.
Yeah.
Especially because that takes up a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Summarizing what happened. Like 2 hours. That's not bad. I wonder how much editing I'll do. Ha 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 ha.
Well, surely it will be less than 2 hours in the end.
Probably not. I'm probably not cutting this down much.
Okay.
That sounds like a lot of work. So fucking...
This has been Genki Gejigeji Gokuraku.
I regret that name.
You regret it now.